According to 2-week spoilers for January 4 to 15 on Young and the Restless, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, defeats Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil. But will this ruin her happiness? Additionally, in the CBS serial opera, Jason Thompson's character Billy Abbott intensifies his bad boy persona once more. According to spoilers, Billy Abbott is expected to sabotage Kyle Abbott's, Michael Mealer, unique plans. The younger Abbott is forced to defend his interests due to his uncle's plot. Will Billy try to get into Jabot again now that he's out at Chance Com? Kyle is furious with Billy by the second week of January on Young and the Restless. Watch how Hunter King's character, Summer Newman, prepares to travel to the West. She is likely to learn that Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, fled Los Angeles following a botched plot. Phyllis Summers will run across Kevin Fisher, Greg Rickhart, once more on the upcoming episode of Young and the Restless. Phyllis has everything she needs to destroy Victoria this time. Victoria now looks awful because Phyllis Summers knows someone who embezzled at Newman. According to Young and the Restless teasers for Week 2, Phyllis Summers plays her hand and informs Victoria Newman that she has been caught. Phyllis is eager to scold Victoria for her misbehavior after months of it. Will the boyfriend of Phyllis Summers object to her disparaging Victoria Newman though? According to Vi and R teasers, Faith Newman, Olivia Allen Lind, will experience more drunken drama. The gifted teenage actor is given a storyline that is appropriate for her level of talent. Remember how Faith sneaked a bottle of alcohol out of the wedding reception so she could go out and party with her friend? Melody Thomas Scott's character Nikki Newman on Young and the Restless soon learns that her teenage granddaughter is drinking. Nikki sees this as a warning sign because of her own bottle fights. Since the parents haven't made any progress on Guy and R, she fills in with Faith. According to 2-week spoilers for next week's episode of Young and the Restless, Amanda Sinclair, Michelle Morgan, calls her biological mother and requests to see her. Thus, she soon encounters Naya Benedict, played by Tasha Story. Amanda wants to know why Hillary ended up in an orphanage after being entrusted to Rose on Young and the Restless. But when Amanda learns the reality about that peculiar circumstance, she won't believe it. Fortunately for her, Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, is there. Vi and R spoilers promise 2 weeks in advance after her aneurysm burst. Chelsea Newman, played by Melissa Claire Egan, became largely paralyzed. Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, is in a panic over her condition because she is unable to move or speak. Adam turns to his father, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, to argue with them when they won't allow him see her. According to teasers for Young and the Restless, the mustache is glad to defend his son. See how they work together to support Chelsea. According to Young and the Restless spoilers, Adam was devastated when Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, wed Ray Rosales, Jordi Villasuso, but he didn't attempt to halt the wedding. He was even confronted by Phyllis Summers, who inquired if she rather than Chelsea was his soulmate. Naturally, Sharon is worried about Adam's health, but Ray wants her to put him out of her mind on Young and the Restless. However, she appears to have returned to his life, while he copes with the stress of his fiancée's medical crisis on the CBS soap drama. According to spoilers, Nick Newman, played by Joshua Morrow, and Phyllis Summers are considering marriage for the next 2 weeks on Guy and R. Nick denied that he was thinking about getting married, but Phyllis might desire to remarry her partner. However, with this new information, Phyllis Summers destroys Victoria Newman on Young and the Restless. Will Nick believe he won't marry Red again as a result? Next week will be full of Newman drama as Victoria is targeted by Phyllis in an attempt to exact revenge on Guy and R. Fans of Young and the Restless, get ready for a tsunami of treachery, retaliation, and dramatic eruptions over the course of the next 2 weeks in Genoa City. According to early spoilers, Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil, is in ruins as Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, returns in full force and schemes her way to the top. In the meantime, Michael Mealer's character Kyle Abbott reaches a breaking point that can ruin his relationships and his family's history. The impact is expected to rock Genoa City's elite to their foundations as the boundaries between ambition and obsession become increasingly hazy. Alliances will break down, long-standing rivalries will reappear, And Phyllis will once again demonstrate why she is the last person anybody should undervalue during the course of the next 2 weeks. It all starts when Phyllis discovers information that would provide her with unheard-of power against Victoria Newman. Red is tired of playing nice after months of keeping quiet and attempting to redeem herself. She is fed up with being ignored, fed up with being undervalued, and fed up with seeing individuals like Victoria abuse their position of authority and influence to achieve their goals. Here comes the ideal chance. Newman Enterprises is covertly pursuing a high-risk acquisition that might cost millions of dollars if revealed too soon. According to a private phone conversation that Phyllis overhears between Victoria and Nate Hastings, seen Dominic. Being Phyllis, she doesn't simply keep this knowledge to herself. Rather, she digs deeper using her signature cunning and computer genius. Even more shocking is what she finds: a history of financial irregularities and a possible cover-up that might spell Newman's public relations doom. She's smiling like the cat that ate the canary by the middle of the week. "Oh, Victoria," she murmurs to herself, "you really ought to have realized how important I am." Victoria is blissfully oblivious to the fact that Phyllis is aiming for her destruction while she completes her agreement with Nate. When Phyllis accidentally runs into Nick, Joshua Morrow, at Crimson Lights and gives him a well-crafted hint about certain corporate secrets being vulnerable, the sparks start to fly. Nick approaches Victoria with curiosity and suspicion. What is Phyllis discussing? Is there something you're keeping from the family? Victoria's cold reaction simply makes the situation worse. Phyllis is constantly causing trouble. She doesn't matter. By the end of the week, however, Victoria's self-assurance begins to erode when the Genoa City Chronicle receives an anonymous tip that reveals preliminary information about her covered acquisition. Victor demands answers as reporters flood Newman's public relations office. Victoria suspects Adam right first, but the true mastermind is at society sipping wine and grinning smugly while her phone ringing with alerts about Newman's mayhem. "Victoria, did you think you could crush me?" Phyllis mutters something to herself. Rethink your thoughts. When Victor, Eric Braden, learns of the possible scandal, chaos ensues. He demands to know who leaked the information and summons an urgent meeting. For once, Adam seems to be innocent and even offers to assist manage the situation. But his sneer indicates that he is relishing every moment of Victoria's humiliation. Meanwhile, Nick becomes irritated as he observes his sister's downward spiral. Unaware that Phyllis' fingerprints are all over the disaster, he informs her, "This is what happens when you think you can play God with people's lives." Naturally, Phyllis observes from the sidelines with pleasure. This is personal to her, not just business. Phyllis has been awaiting retribution ever since Victoria previously sabotaged her and tricked her out of business prospects, and she had only just begun. Tucker McCall, Traver Street John, an odd alley, approaches Phyllis as the Newmans are rushing. He offers her a partnership after being impressed by her skill to precisely destroy Victoria's kingdom. Over whiskey, Tucker tells her, "You've got guts, Red. We have similar ways of thinking. Ruthless, astute, and constantly ahead of the game." Phyllis smiles. "Tucker, you'll get anywhere with Fluffy. I'm not your pawn though. My own game is what I play." Nevertheless, their mutual ambition and chemistry are evident. When combined, they might turn Genoa City's elite into a corporate nightmare. But there is always a risk when forming an alliance with Tucker. By the end of week 1, there are indications that Tucker's interest in Phyllis extends beyond business, and she might end up entangled in a web she didn't create. Kyle Abbott, Phyllis's son, is on the verge of an emotional collapse while she plays chess. Kyle is prepared to explode due to his strained marriage to Summer, Allison Lanier, as well as his ongoing arguments with Diane, Susan Walters, and Jack, Peter Bergman. When he learns that Jack has made yet another audacious choice at J-Bot that puts him on the sidelines once more, this week's events reach a breaking point. Kyle comes into Jack's office and demands respect after feeling like a child. "Dad, you don't believe me. You haven't. You always pick Diane over me when it comes to family loyalty, even if you preach about it." Remaining composed, Jack maintains that he is merely shielding Kyle from Tucker's manipulation. Kyle, however, has had enough. "You're manipulating me, not defending me. I'm done allowing Diane to manipulate you, and I'm no longer your little boy. Kyle storms off after their violent argument, promising to prove himself, even if it meant betraying his own family. Summer, meanwhile, observes with terror as Kyle loses his anger. Every time she attempts to reason with him, he gets more irrational. You can't see what you're doing to yourself because you're so focused on proving you're the victim, she begs. Kyle gives a chilly response. Maybe I'm now able to see everyone for who they truly are. My dad, mom, even you. Everyone wants me to be someone I'm not. Summer worries that Kyle might make a mistake that costs him everything, so she looks to Maria, Cameron Grimes, for guidance. She confesses he's upset with the world at the moment. And Kyle reacts rather than thinks when he's upset. The tension in Genoa City is oppressive by the beginning of week 2. Even Phyllis' plan keeps falling apart in unexpected ways, and Kyle's wrath takes a deadly turn. Round 2. Phyllis versus Victoria. Disgraced by the consequences, Victoria employs a private detective to find the leak. She loses it when she finds out that Phyllis used a fictitious company to gain access to Newman's servers. Phyllis, do you think you can ruin me? During a heated argument at Society, Victoria sneers. I play to win, and you just declared war. Calmly, Phyllis smiles. War? This isn't war, my dear. Justice is served here. Their confrontation finishes with shattered glasses, cold looks, and a surprised audience, including Tucker, who appears to be secretly ecstatic. In the meantime, Kyle's rage peaks at last. Kyle loses it all as Jack publicly humiliates him during a business meeting. Do you believe that I am a liability? All right, he exclaims. Perhaps I'll go work for Tucker McCall or someone who genuinely values me. There is silence in the room. Jack's face goes white. Diane hurries to step in, but before anyone can stop him, Kyle leaves. Kyle destroys a picture frame of himself, Summer, and young Harrison when he gets home. Her heart shatters when Summer enters. This isn't you, Kyle, she murmurs. When Kyle confesses, I don't even know who I am anymore, his voice breaks. Summer wonders if their marriage can withstand the storm after witnessing one of Kyle's most vulnerable moments in years. Tucker intervenes at the perfect time, as if the situation couldn't get any messier. Seeing Kyle's weakness, he gives him a lifeline, the opportunity to work on his own and show Jack what he's missing. Tucker advises him, this is your opportunity to rise above your father's shadow. Be independent. Don't follow their rules. Still angry and raw, Kyle starts to think about it. Tucker, who has always been the puppet master, smiles triumphantly. J-Boat and the Abbott family may be permanently split up if Kyle falls for the trick. Phyllis begins to experience the consequences of her decisions by the end of the second week. Victor has launched an internal probe that may expose her because her attack on Victoria has gotten out of hand. She has self-doubt for a time. She tells Daniel, maybe I went too far. However, her pride is only bolstered by her son's warning. Mom, you always go too far. Your curse is that. Phyllis isn't one to back down though. Phyllis strikes a final devastating blow when Victoria prepares to file charges, a piece of evidence that links Nate's unethical actions to Newman's most recent scandal. Victoria's face goes white. You wouldn't risk it. Phyllis smiles. I simply did.